I just got off work. And obviously this is a little bit performative. I didn't just get off work. I did take time to set up a camera, but that's because something's been playing on my mind while I've been at work over the past couple days. And that's the issue of abortion. You see, since I've started working and posting content that is politically oriented, I've kind of dodged around the topic because it's very controversial and I don't have a fully informed opinion on the matter. So, I'm encouraging you all to, through this series, and if you're watching the full video, then, through this video, to come with me as I'm looking into the matter of abortion. I've put it out a couple times on my short form platforms asking people why they're pro-life and pro-choice, and at the end of this, we will discuss their takes and my opinions on their takes. But until then, everything I talk about is going to be me formulating my opinion on abortion. And so I guess without further ado, I should probably go get changed and get out of these sweaty work clothes, and we can start discussing this topic.
Sidewalk, there's many counties that don't speak English. So I think it's really important to just learn a few key phrases like hola,
This guy's more like actually
Bueno, yo voy a dar una no como algo que se queda solamente en San Francisco y en Estados Unidos, el tema del aborto con mucha fuerza aquí en Estados Unidos, pero se expande a todo el mundo. México también votamos en la noche para que pues este crimen no llegue porque daño más bien la esperanza se extienda. Entonces quiero reconocer esta lucha que se hace aquí en San Francisco, porque si aquí en San Francisco, que es la falta de violencia, ¿no? Como le dicen, y hasta nos lo hacen saber, la importancia de mantenernos firmes en esta lucha recae no solamente como personas, sino como seres humanos. Entonces, pues nada, nos vemos en la marcha por la vida en California, en Sacramento.
I don't think West Virginia's ready for what's about to happen next.
Alrighty, so, like I said, we're going on an adventure to together discover whether or not abortion should be a right or a crime. And in this adventure, I figured the best way to start it is to discuss the groups associated with abortion. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list. This is what pops up because I'm just doing research with you guys. So this is what pops up when you look up pro-life groups or pro-choice groups. And in the interest of fairness, you can't say I wasn't being fair, we're going to flip a coin. Heads, we start with pro-life. Tails, we start with pro-choice. You ready? Heads, we're starting with pro-life. Cool. Just bumped my microphone. So sorry. So yeah, we're starting with pro-life, which is fine by me. So, our first organization, and I have a list of organizations from both, with a few notes on each. Our first organization is a group called Preborn. That's a name. And their opening tagline, as you can see, is to glorify Jesus Christ by leading and equipping pregnancy clinics to save more babies and souls. I am a Christian, so obviously I have nothing morally against, talking about Jesus and everything. However, I do think that you're not going to reach people that way. That's an issue I think a lot of Christian groups and Christian movements have, is they focus way too heavily on trying to reach people with lines like that. It turns non-believers off. It really does. It turns people who aren't Christian off, and that's unfortunate, but it's true. So there's their mission statement. They use donations to aid pregnancy centers, and here's part of that. Through the generations, I'm dyslexic, leave me alone. Through the generous hearts of our donors, Preborn provides pregnancy clinics with underwriting ultrasound sessions for expectant mothers, providing new ultrasound machines completely free. Ooh, fancy. And then cash grants for the completion of specific initiatives. I'm guessing like anti-abortion initiatives. And then connecting abortion-minded women with clinics through digital marketing. Interesting. I don't know how that plays in anything, but okay. They are a religious group, and they are a pro-life group. Here's more information on what they do. I'm rubbing my eye because I had something in it. Not because these people are pissing me off. I'm really worried about seeing like I'm giving favor here. But no, they, this is more information on what they've done. I don't know, they seem like a cool group. They seem nice and with the best intentions. Maybe not the best marketing, but the best intentions. Next, we have the National Right to Life. This feels like the group that your grandmother was a part of, or your granddad, and that your parents said no to, and that you've been asked to join by all of your grandparents' friends. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way or a good way. Just you go through the website and it's giving very, it's giving mothball. With all due respect, like these people, I mean, they work hard to do what they do. They work a lot in Capitol Hill, but it's giving mothball. Politely. I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. So their mission statement is protecting and defending the original masterpiece of life, which I kind of like. I like that mission statement. Unlike the last one, like I said, that's a turn-off line. I'm sorry, but it is. This, on the other hand, it could have religious undertones. It could be secular. It could be really anything, and I like that. That seems like a fun little statement that they've given. I don't know. It looks nice. They're a pro-life group, obviously, since we're talking about pro-life groups first. And the lady you see here is actually their founder, and she does a lot of stuff up on Capitol Hill. It's actually impressive how much work and effort she puts in. With this picture, I'd say it looks like she's at Turning Point USA, which is a cool group, I guess. You can pause to read if you feel so inclined, but I'm not reading that to you. Our next group is a group called Live Action. You've probably seen them a lot on social media. They are the largest of all pro-life groups. Have very heavy. I do wonder if they get into heavy metal. Very heavy social media campaigns. Like, they do a lot. Their goals are to educate, investigate, and inspire people about abortion and its issues. I think their leader's Catholic, and I think she does a lot social media wise with that. However, I will say, from what I saw, it doesn't look like their organization itself acts in a super religious manner, which is cool. You don't have to one way or another. Just know that you could turn people off one way or the other. So yeah, I just thought that was noteworthy since we're talking about that. And apparently Live Action was started in 2003 by Leela Rose, that the founder, in her family's living room. I think she was 12? Yeah, I think she was 12. And it was the goal to expose what abortion does to a preborn child. She worked with friends to make pro-life presentations to groups at Shine a Light on the reality of abortion. I am dyslexic, I do apologize. And then she started undercover investigations in 2006 while at UCLA, and was 18 when she started doing undercover shit. That's inspiring. Whether or not you are for or against abortion, she's 18 running ops. She's 18 running undercover operations. That's impressive. I think I might double back and talk about her some more later, because that's badass. But this is a pro-life group. Yeah. Next is the Pro-Life Action League. Again, mothball-y. With all due respect, it's just the vibe. They're the national leader in abortion rights, though, so I can't be too mean. Their mission is the Pro-Life Action League was founded by Joseph M. Schneider in 1980 with the aim of saving unborn children through nonviolent direct action. So protesting, peaceful protesting. And they're the national leader in abortion rights. They are religious, which again, not an issue. Just know it could turn people off or turn people to either way. And obviously pro-life. Next is one of those other big social media groups. This is Students for Life. Students for Life of America. Sorry. It was founded in 2006. Let's see. On June 24th, 22, Kristen, that's the founder, had the honor of announcing that Roe was reversed on the steps of the Supreme Court to millions around the world. So they're the group that announced that Roe v. Wade was overturned. They are the leader in... Wait, didn't I say that about the last one? I don't know. Did I say that about the last one? National leader in abortion rights. Oh, sorry. They're the leader in campus outreach. My notes got confusing for a second. All right, this is the last time I'm saying it, just because I feel like I have to explain it. I'm dyslexic and I'm reading a lot of notes in this one. Because I just jotted down notes and we'll talk about them in a little bit. So yeah. Here's some of their stats. Sorry. Here's some of their statistics, their little statty stats. They've trained 213,000 advocates since 2006. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. That is impressive. They've had 1,807,805 conversations about abortion online and in person since 2019. Even I'm not that talkative. 295 million plus dollars earned media. Oh, that's through, wait, what? I think that's through like social media stuff. So Meta and TikTok and YouTube paying for acting. Creator Fund. I think. I don't know what that necessarily means, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of zeros. All right, this is Kristen Hawkins. She is the founder of Students for Life of America. Like I said, she had the pleasure of announcing that Roe v. Wade was overturned, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Beyond that, she started Students for Life in 2006. So yeah, she's the founder. They started in 2006, and she started it, which is... I mean, it sounds like it's a pretty successful organization, so I'm sure that's something she's proud of, as she should be. I mean, whatever that organization is founding and supporting, being successful in something is still impressive. That's like, okay, this is going to sound absolutely horrible, but that's like people who say they're impressed by the fact that Hitler was able to do what he did, but not impressed by what he did, if that makes sense. Like, they think it's an atrocity, but it's impressive that he was able to convince people to do that. Make sense? I think that makes sense. Makes sense to me. How about that? And like I said, we're going to circle back. I want to talk about Lila Rose again. Correction, not 12, 15. She was 15 when she started live action, which is... What was I doing when I was 15? See what, that's your freshman year of high school. So I was leadership in martial arts... fighting a lot with my parents. I was a rebellious teenager. Okay, that was not funny. Yeah, I wasn't starting something that would become... Wow. So she herself is religious, but her organization is less so. Like I said, I'm pretty sure she's Catholic. But yeah, an impressive woman. Here's her whole like blurb about herself if you want to pause to read. And that basically wraps up the pro-life organization part of the conversation. I would say all in all, they're impressive in the sense of they've either been around for a while or the ones that haven't been around as long have done quite a bit. Yeah, all in all, I don't none of them really stick out to me as anything that could be considered concerning. I guess except for maybe like if these religious groups aren't trying to back up their opinions with anything else besides religion, then that's a little like, hey guys, cool, and you can do that to convince people not to get abortions, but please stay away from legislation if that's the case. Because if you don't know, I'm a proponent for religion not being involved in legislation, laws, and bills and such. And if you have a religious stance that you want to be involved in that, going and finding other information that can at least give you some backing, because we are a country of religious freedoms. I'm American, if the accent didn't give it away, but we are a country of religious freedoms. So I mean, yeah, you can't just write laws based off your religion, because one, that would give someone the right to come in later with a different religion that you probably wouldn't agree with and write laws based off that. And two, it can strip people of their like religious freedoms. I don't know. Food for thought. All right, pro-choice groups. First up, we have the group Reproductive Freedom for All. I think they might have a different name because they've changed their name multiple times. But that's the name on the website, as you can see. So yeah, I would say the first thing that like jumped out to me is the fact that they have an AI chatbot, which if you know anything from this channel, you know I don't like AI. So I'm not going to hold that against the pro-choice movement. However, I might hold that against this one specific group, but not pro-choice in total. How about that? So like I said, they changed their name multiple times, and they were founded in 1969. Ugh. Like, guys, why are we changing our name? That's a little odd. And I couldn't find the number of times, but I think it's like 4 times since 1969. So you do with that information what you will. And the reason I make a face is because if you're changing your name, groups normally change their name because they got into trouble or because they like changed hands. Those are the 2 reasons. Generally. Sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes, you can't control everything. Things happen, whatever. But those are the general 2 reasons. Anyways, moving on. They helped pass Eistendalt, it's German, and a ton of consonants. V. Baird, it's a 1972 case, Supreme Court, and it allows unmarried couples to possess contraceptives the same as married couples. So I guess before 1972, if you weren't married, you just couldn't get a condom, because that's helpful to the community. They have a very broad range of focuses, including gender, LGBTQIA issues, race, immigration, democracy, civil rights, just very broad, which is something I've noticed with most left-leaning groups, is they tend to be more broad net, whereas right-leaning groups tend to be more focused. So I don't know, just a notice. And they have a definitive focus on equity. But yeah, moving on to our next group, I don't have much to say about these guys. National Abortion Federation. Their mission is to unite, represent, serve, and support abortion providers in delivering patient-centered, evidence-based care. Right off the bat, one critique is that title and that mission, just like earlier with some of these guys, it's a little divisive, don't you think? Just a little, yeah. I don't know, it just feels very divisive. They have a focus on equity. They have a DEIA initiative. And if you don't know, DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And then when you slap the A on there, that stands for anti-racism, which to me sounds like Title IX, but to the left apparently needed to be a new thing. Cool. I don't know. Like, again, that's a pretty much hallmark, though, of any liberal group, and I'm trying not to judge pro-choice as a liberal movement and judge it as its own independent thing. Same with pro-life. As a right-leaning movement, judge it as its own independent thing, because we're trying to be unbiased here, and obviously I am right-leaning, but I don't really have an opinion on abortion, so this is what we're doing, meaning I have to be nice to Democrats. Their mission, which I already mentioned, but here's the grab from the screen. Yeah, here's the grab from the screen. The screen grab, the screenshot. Here's the picture of the webpage that shows the mission. English is hard. especially when you're a yapper. Like I said, they have a DEIA initiative. Here's more on that. Cool. They are the first group I came across that has a paid membership. What are we doing? Why do we have a paid membership? That seems a little weird. Like, the first group I've come across to have a paid membership. Which is fine and all if that's what you want to do. It just... all the others weren't that way. I don't know. Seems like something worth taking note of. Next up, we have Emily's List. And their mission statement is that they elect democratic pro-choice women to office. Cool. They were founded in 1985, and since their founding, they have elected... this is actually impressive, so I would say drum roll please, but I'm pretty sure if I did that, things would start falling and make a mess on my desk. So you can give yourself a drum roll. Drum roll please. They've elected 221 members to Congress, which is actually impressive. I don't know if any other group can claim that level of success. That's actually impressive. So yeah, I can tip my hat to them for that. They currently have 23 candidates that they're supporting. Here's that list. We're not going to sit here and read it, but yeah. And of course, also, they have DEIA initiatives, because why not? It's these groups, I'm telling you. I don't understand. Personally, wouldn't be my mojo, but, you know. And they are another one that I found that requires a paid membership. Weird. Next up, we have the... great. We are... 20-some minutes into this video? We have the Freedom Socialist Party. I don't like socialists. 20 minutes. It took 20 minutes for socialists to show up. I don't know if that's a record or not. I don't know. We're just getting started here. This is the first video. Cool. Cool. Freedom Socialist Party. We're just going to read their taglines, and then I'm moving on. For women's liberation. We organize for the total emancipation of women on every level of life. It's just going to give me a headache. The multiple afflictions of women. Headache. As an oppressed sex, workers, people of color, immigrants, lesbian, queers, and trans women. What did half of that have to do with women? Propel them into militancy within every social movement, thereby laying the basis for unifying all the mass movements. So women are going to unify all the liberal movements. For the record, the headache is starting right behind my eyes. Thanks to the rise of the autonomous feminist movement, the vanguard role of women, particularly working class women of color. Dang, they got a boost. Way to go, working class women of color. Y'all apparently are the pinnacle of women's rights. I don't know. I can't speak to that one way or another because I don't know. Because last time I checked, all races and genders were equal. So, and that was like a few minutes ago because I knew I was going to make a Title IX joke. It's visible almost everywhere, including in women's caucuses within unions and political parties. You know that headache I mentioned? It's like right here, and it's slowly... Oh. Why is it that socialists seem to have cornered the market on woke word vomit? This is one reason why I don't like socialists. There's other reasons that I don't like socialists so much more than this. But this is like one reason why I don't like socialists. Because what is this? Why? And here's another part of their mission statement towards women. I will say, in judging the pro-choice movement, even though they're socialists, I can't judge too harshly based off this because they cover a ton of issues. But this is, and they didn't like pinpoint in on abortion even in women's issues. But this is what I got when I Googled, and I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I think I just blocked it out. The Freedom Socialist Party is a feminist, working class organization made up of people of many races, nationalities, genders, sexual orientations, ages. They're activists and educators. Cannot stand the activist class. I don't mean an actual activist. Like, if you're actually an activist going up to Capitol Hill, taking a stance, working towards accomplishing something, that is impressive. I'm talking about paid protesters or unpaid protesters who get rowdy and ghetto, as well as just the online keyboard warriors. Yeah, gross. Grody. Go away. Educators fighting for an end to all capitalist exploitation and oppression. This is not about economics. This is about abortion. This is not about economics. This is about abortion. This is not about economics. This is about abortion. We work in labor unions, join in social movement struggles, and take electoral positions and run candidates. It's not about economics. It's about abortion. We're moving on. I hate socialists. So we're moving on because I cannot fairly judge them if I judge them based off this, if that makes sense. The them being the pro-choice movement. I cannot fairly judge the pro-choice movement based off this. So we're moving on. I will acknowledge that socialists back abortion, but socialists also back a bunch of other stuff that I'm actually a fan of. So, well, not a bunch, a little bit. Like, they back books. Socialists do, in fact, like reading. It's the communists that have an issue with it. Anyways, next up, Planned Parenthood. So yeah, their About Us page is actually hard to find. I'm not gonna lie. Took me a second. So here's the beginning of that, and then we're just gonna keep going. Here's who they are, their About Them page. They're apparently America's most trusted name in sexual health, which is cool. Good for them. Their mission statement. Their mission: help people live full, healthy lives no matter your income, insurance, gender identity, sexual orientation, race, or immigration status. Provide the high-quality, inclusive, and comprehensive sexual and reproductive health care services all people need and deserve with respect and compassion. Advocate for public policies that protect and expand reproductive rights and access to a full range of sexual reproductive health care services, including abortion. Provide medically accurate education that advances the understanding of human sexuality, human relationships, and body autonomy. Promote research and technology that enhances reproductive health care and access. Can I get a high five for reading that without stuttering? Anyways, the first half was very much so woke word vomit and is making my headache worse. Beyond that, I don't know. If that's what they're actually doing, I guess that sounds all right. Nothing against it. Their motto is "Care no matter what. Your health and well-being are Planned Parenthood's top priority. Planned Parenthood Healthcare will provide healthcare services no matter who you are or where you live." Nice. And it also mentions that they were founded in 1916. According to Planned Parenthood, there are two methods of abortion: surgical in-clinic abortion and then the abortion pill. I'm going to get into those later. We're going to talk about how they operate and work because we're talking about abortion, and so we should know how an abortion operates. Front and center on their page is need an abortion, which, I mean, they say they want to provide those. So, but this is a link to book an appointment, which is cool. 2.08 million patients, which is impressive, with 142,000 telehealth appointments. Good job. That's good for a provider. Even if you are basically chain doctors. Like, you have a chain restaurant, they're a chain doctor. Okay, that was mean. But accurate, actually. I think they're like a chain store, but for abortions. And gender affirming care. And here's some more statistics for them. I don't know. Let's see. They've had 2.08 million patients. How many abortions? 2.2 million birth control services. Oh, here we go. 402 and then 402,200 abortions. 402,200 abortions. My dyslexic ass can't read. Yeah. And then our last organization for pro-choice is the National Organization for Women. I wasn't able to find a ton about these guys, but here's their about page. They call themselves the grassroots the grassroots arm of the women's rights movement. And I think they're the largest grassroots activist group in the United States, or at least for women. I don't know. The details on them are kind of sketchy. They were founded in 1966. But yeah, they're cool. Their mission is the foundation works to enhance this. All right, here's our mission statement. Sorry. The foundation works to enhance the status of women in the United States and around the world through many strategies, including advocacy, litigation, and education. The litigation efforts of the foundation seek to protect reproductive health options, as well as focusing on other areas of concern to women, such as pregnancy, discrimination, employment issues, discrimination against women in the military, sexual harassment and exploitations, lesbian and gay rights. What do gay men have to do with women's rights? And how many times are you going to say exploitation, or not exploitation, discrimination? Sorry. That was a really weird brain fart. How many times are you going to say discrimination? I can see it like 4 times in this paragraph. We're going to skip over that rest of that sentence because they just keep listing groups. The foundation works to inform the general public as well as policymakers about the need for equal treatment of women and for and for a constitutional guarantee of equal rights under the law. We do this in many ways, including public speaking, conference seminars, training programs, and educational materials. NOW, is that their acronym? I guess, yeah, National Organization for Women. NOW, cool. NOW Foundation also engages in voter empowerment programs designed to encourage women to register, vote, and stay politically active in their communities. I apologize for the struggle and difficulty, and if I sound like a robot, and if that was hard to follow, I have dyslexia and struggle to read. I said I was done saying that. They were established in 1986 as a 501c3 education and litigation organization. They are pro-choice, and I could not find out a lot about them, but they seem to, they're grassroots, which means they're small town, and that they are, the bare bones of the abortion fight, which is impressive, and I can respect that, honestly. I would say overall, my opinion of groups related to abortion is that some of their language can be very divisive, and some of them, might want to consider not being socialists. I'm not holding it against the pro-choicers, I promise. But all in all, they seem like decent organizations. All organizations on both sides, not all, but a good number of organizations on both sides are able to make pretty impressive claims to fame. And so all in all, I would say that I can reasonably not make a judgment based off of organizations alone. I cannot make a judgment based off organizations alone as long as I'm being fair. If I wasn't being fair, I don't like socialists. But yeah. Next up is going to be abortion laws, so I will see you as we get into that. Peace out, loves. I will catch you all in the next one. The next part will be up about current abortion laws and past abortion laws. And remember to go check out my other social media platforms if you want more information. That's about it. And I will catch y'all later. Peace.